Hello there, welcome to my hardcore Healless-Arealocke Hatelocke run-through of the Elite Four of Pokemon Red. This is the first leg of the Hatelocke. You can see the rules on the right. They're fairly straightforward. It's one of the more difficult variations of Haylock because some other runners are fairly lenient, but I think this is a rule set that is feasible if the proper prep is done, and it's a rule set I feel like I'll have fun playing with. Now let's walk over the team for the Elite Four. So we start with Charizard. This is my plan for Agatha as my Earthquake Mon. Obviously, I would prefer to have it on Aerodactyl, but fortunately, Aerodactyl's Learn set in Gen 1 is really weak, but we'll make do of it as we can. It's a normal resist, which is relevant in one fight. Well, in one fight I'm thinking of. And then Seeking, just our Surf, and Water and Ice Spammer. Wigglytuff got special attacks and got rest, stab, body slam. Should be pretty solid. Beedrill, poison type with good AI, we know how that works. And Ditto, I doubt Ditto's really going to do anything other than maybe be a switch against Confuse Ray or something, or potentially a sack. But if possible, I do want to get through this deathless. So now let's get this underway. So we'll start with Beedrill because of good AI. And another thing is we've only got TMs and PP up here because by Masterlocke rules we can't use heal items between Elite Four members. So let's get this started. So we're just going to start with the rest bait. Dugong has good Lorelei has good AI, so it's going to use psychic moves on Beedrill, even if they're status moves, because Gen 1 is amazing. And then we'll switch to Wigglytuff for the 2-hit KO. We could have started with Wigglytuff if need be, but this dodges a Growler Aurora Beam. Those moves can be helpful in their own right, because badge boost, it raises special attack, but it also lowers the damage on Jinx if Growler and Aurora Beam lowers attack, of course. Now, yeah, first three is pretty straightforward. See, Jinx should also be fine. Now, Lapras could depend on what exactly it goes with, because it has freeze, it has the chance to freeze, and it has Confuse Ray. But it's just going to Body Slam, which is good here, because one quirk of Gen 1 is that Body Slam can't paralyze normal types. because it's just of how status works in the game. Okay, now we're going to go to Seeking for Bruno. Okay. So there's a Hitmonchan that's got like Thunder Punch and such, but Hitmonchan I don't think can do a whole lot of damage with special attacks. Let's see. Bruno has counter, which is something to be wary of. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, one thing is that we're doing level caps one below the champion. That does make the early fights easier here because it's really lopsided levels before the champion for Gen 1. Some people go with lower level caps. Oh, and of course we got the crit. Seeking has decent speed, so it's going to have a decent crit rate, considering Gen 1 uses speed for critical hits. Now we'll go to Charizard for the Earthquake on Gengar. The first two went better than I expected. Now, let's see. It's really only going to be like Golbat and such that matter. And of course we got the Super Potion AI, which just makes it a hilarious joke. Of course the level cap being this high does make these fights pretty trivial, but I did want to choose a level cap scheme that's fairly reasonable overall for the different games and such. And considering the difficulty of this challenge is a bit higher, having a level cap like this seemed to give a slight edge for the beginning Elite Four. Seemed reasonable. Now, I recall. Now, first one thing here for Lance's, I forget whether Lance has I think Lance doesn't have a water move on Gyarados, but I gotta check. Mainly in terms of Aerodactyl strats. Okay, yeah, it does have a water move, so we can't go Aerodactyl here. Unfortunate, but let's go with the let's go with Wigglytuff then. Let's see. Will this be a 2-hit KO or 1-hit KO? Oh, 1-hit KO. Okay. Wigglytuff is now at any level range. Okay, now we go to Beedrill, and then we do good AI, Memery. Now there's also Aerodactyl, which only has normal moves. I don't remember when exactly Aerodactyl comes in the order. Okay. So yeah, Beedrill just wrecks these because they have to use agility because of good AI, psychic moves being super effective to poison. This isn't something that can be abused in yellow because Lance doesn't have psychic moves in yellow, but in red and blue this is very easy to abuse. Now what are we? I guess a funny play is we could get crit here, and that would even a crit isn't deadly. I guess one funny thing is now let's see. Now we can just switch to Seeking. I was going to do some Aerodactyl strats, but I didn't know how viable that was actually going to be. Oh well. Yeah, that's fine. We don't really need HP on Beedrill. We can replenish as much HP as possible with Mega Drain. Very little. It's going to get 2 HP per drain. But yeah, I really didn't need to. So one thing is that we're maxing out on static XP here, which is the only way Beedrill was able to take a crit Hyper Beam. I just knew it's just that Gen 1 right now is just pretty trivial, so I knew I could take a risk with the Beedrill, but honestly, I shouldn't really have done that. But then in hindsight, we can see that since Seeking is not faster than Aerodactyl, switching into a Hyper Beam could be scary, potentially. Switching into a move and then Hyper Beam could be, could kill Seeking. Now, let's see, we're probably gonna start with Wigglytuff as usual. I instinctively want to save, but there's no point in saving because this is a gauntlet. Yeah. Whirlwind, of course. Incredible AI. And Sky Attack. That's nice. Didn't have to worry about Sand Attack here. So other than like the crit, Hyper Beam, this has been going very well. I don't know. Yeah, Alakazam's, Gen 1 AI is just amazing. Yeah, what is this Rhydon's moveset? I think it's just normal moves. I'll need to check that out. See, Rhydon's. Yeah, it has Horn Drill, which doesn't work for faster, and has Fury attack. So, Seeking is fine here. Okay. We are tail whipped, so that means we're going to be doing a bit more damage. Takedown crit is not going to be scary, so yeah, we'll be doing a bit more damage because of the badge boost glitch, of course. No, we're 65. No, Executor. What status? Doesn't it has only hypnosis, which isn't too difficult. Because it can't really do any damage, so it doesn't matter as long as hypnosis doesn't take too long to deal with. Yeah, that's good. Wake up. Okay, we're dealing with the critical hit barrage now. Okay, yeah. So this is going fairly well. Now all we have is Blastoise. Now I think Wigglytuff is a pretty good counter to Blastoise. We got Rest if need be as well. Are we getting frozen here? Are we getting crit? No. We're just, nothing is going wrong here. Okay, so that was an easy run through. And funny, we also didn't over level past his ace until knocking everything out. Yeah, now that we're done, I guess we can talk a bit about this challenge. I like this challenge because of the resource aspect behind it. You have hardcore Nuzlocke rules, which makes health a resource, and experience is kind of a resource as well, because based on your level, you can't gain too much experience and still be fine with it. And Masterlocke, the gauntlet aspect of Masterlocke, forcing you to use the same Pokemon without switching between them within an area or route, can also have experience implications. And then there's also the PP resources that come from Masterlocke. I do have some additional restrictions on using TMs for PP of use, and Lepa berries and stuff of that nature. And the Hatelocke aspect adds to the resources as well, because you have to choose which Pokemon you're going to champion and which you don't need for later games, and which ones you do need for certain runs or later games. overall, this is going to be a pretty interesting challenge to do the next 27 run-throughs. I know, obviously take a break before doing a blue, and of course, even with this run-through is pretty easy, deathless, without healing in between, because Gen 1 is pretty easy to deal with, especially when you're using everything available to you, such as stat experience and going right to the level cap. Now I guess can't use Charizard anymore. So now we are done, and now I'll be looking forward to the next seeing you in the next Elite Four round for Pokemon Blue, where we cannot use the Mons we used in this team, which most relevant is Goodbye Charizard for the rest of the Hatelocke. No Mega Charizard shenanigans in X and Y as a result. So, with that, see ya.